Hey everyone, welcome to a very special webcast for how to do San Diego Comic-Con on a budget.
Yay!
I'm Erin. I'm here along with our admin Angel and
Hi.
Jamie. Hey. And we're here to give you all the tips, tricks, and all the secret stuff on how to save money at San Diego Comic-Con. So, because we're totally all in about saving
broke.
money. Correct. Yes, we might be a little broke. It's fine. Just a quick reminder here. We would like to tell you that all the views expressed on this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole. So that's out of the way. Let's just jump right in here. I thought that we could start talking about hotels, which I think most people should already have that stuff kind of under their belt for this year. But maybe let's talk about hotels.
Yeah, if you don't have a hotel at this point, you're playing a very dangerous game. Hotels is one of the hardest things to reduce cost because everything's really inflated. So it kind of depends on how many people do you want to cram into a room, or how far away do you want to be? And if you want to be close and have your own bed, you're going to be spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But if you're finding far away or sharing a bed or something like that,
or sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, sleeping on the floor. Then that's the only way you can really control it, because everything, it's like a radius. The closer you are to a hotel or closer you are to the convention center, the more expensive it is, and you can't really change that.
Yeah, I personally am one of those that I spend a little more money on the hotel because I have to sleep in a bed. I'm to that age where floor sleeping, nope. And then I also, I like to be close to the convention center and run back and forth. But what is this thing? How are some strategies? I know you guys do some, or have in the past done, room sharing. Apart from just getting a room with 2 beds and you have a roommate, what are some other strategies that you use for the room sharing?
So the people that we've been sharing with, which I think we're going on our 3rd year now, me and Jamie have been roommates, I think, for 5 years at the con, and I think 4 years, something like that. And then the other people in our group, I think we're going on about the 3rd year, and we found them on forums, Friends of Comic-Con. They had a room share thread, and that's where we've, I think one of our roommates we met through the room share thread, and another one was just a friend that we met by line sharing, camping out in line together.
Oh, yes. So. Johnny was our line buddy for Ballroom 20,
exactly.
5 years ago.
And then we absorbed her from Ballroom 20 line buddy into being a hotel room share, roommate. And then her husband joined. And then we randomly adopted this New Zealander. So that's how our group got together.
He's very nice and sleeps on the floor.
Whoa. I too have used the same roommate for years. For me, once you find a good roommate situation, you got to hold on to that, because it's hard to travel with people that you don't travel with on a regular basis, like your family. And so, yes, do that.
Yeah.
The first year I came to Comic-Con, I stayed in a hostel. So that's a pretty cheap way to go about. I want to say it was $300 for the whole week, which is not bad. You're in a shared room. Obviously, they have private rooms, but they're more expensive. And also, by the time we booked, the private rooms were gone. So there were 4 of us in the room, and then me and my friend, and then we had random roommates. But that was nice, and that the hostel actually helps in other cost-saving areas, because there's breakfast, and the one that we stayed at, which is near Petco, so it was pretty close, had dinner 3 nights a week too. That was included in the cost.
That's
I don't
great.
think we partook that much, but it was there as an option.
My first year at Comic-Con was also a cheaper situation, but I was staying in Mission Valley, which I'm never going to do again because I don't like the distance. So, but the room was about $180 a night versus Hilton Bayfront, which is what we stay at now, which is, with the amount of people we have in it, like $400 a night. So that's a significant difference. But Mission Valley, like, you have to take a shuttle, like, which sometimes there's waits. And then this year, I'm so distracted by your dog in the background, like doing leg lifts.
Oh, yeah, he's just chilling. It's hot here, so he's like laying out.
But anyway, back to the hotel. I'm sorry, dog. Where was I? Oh yeah, this year the shuttles are not running 24/7, so that's another problem as well. Like, because Mission Valley, if you're catching a shuttle at 2 a.m., you're probably not going to have the issue where the shuttles are going by you full. But now they stop at 1 and they start at, again, at like, I think 6. Double check those hours. I might be incorrect on the hours. But like, basically in that middle of the nighttime where you're trying to get back home from like partying, they're not operating anymore. So it might not be the best option anymore.
Yeah, the other good thing though is I have not stayed in Mission Valley. I've been lucky to always stay downtown since I've started going. But the advantage to staying outside of downtown also is like Jamie was alluding to, you get some of those extra hotel perks that most like regular business person travel, you know, that you get at those hotels, like free breakfast or, you know, free Wi-Fi, which is not something you get in downtown hotels. You even have to pay for the Wi-Fi unless like you are like a member of their club or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are always like things that you should consider, especially if you're doing it on a budget. And those downtown hotels too like to tack on like $30 to $40 a night extra in like resort fees or whatever, which again normally cover, like they say it covers like use of the gym facilities,
which we totally utilized during Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
About anybody else.
I'm always like a pile of sweat during Comic-Con anyway, so why am I gonna go work out now? But those are additional costs to consider if you do end up staying in a downtown hotel that isn't always disclosed to you, especially if you're booking through OnPeak. So just keep that stuff in mind and try to read the fine print. And yeah.
I did stay at one downtown hotel that had a breakfast, and that was the Embassy Suites. But that was a bit of a walk because it's like down there by the Seaport Village, and that's pretty far.
That's a fairly popular one for people who are on a budget. Like I see, like on the Friends of Comic-Con forum, people, that's their top choice, and I think that's probably why, because it gives a lot of the perks that like Hilton Bayfront and Hard Rock don't give. Even though we're paying like $400 a night,
yeah,
like, we get nothing for free. No offense, Hilton Bayfront, love you, you're a great location. But can you give us free Wi-Fi? Like,
we just want, you know, that would be a nice like press perk, is to like have your hotel give you free Wi-Fi, but it only works like half the time anyway. So, I do want to say too, Tara might be joining us in a little bit. She did just message me, and she's going to try to be on. But I know that she has also stayed in a hostel. And she did get a private room one year. And I did visit her in that room. So I'll just give a little shout out about this particular hostel that had private rooms. It was nice to have she and her friend. So it was 2 like twin beds in a private room, but it didn't have air conditioning, and it was very hot. So
ours didn't either.
Yeah, so that's something to consider too. I mean, San Diego has very mild temperatures throughout the year, but when you're outside and walking around all the time, you're going to get sweaty. And so that's something to consider. The hostels are great, but you know, you do have a lot that you sacrifice by going through a hostel. So
also shared bathrooms, not fun.
Right, shared bathrooms. Yeah, no.
bring sandals if you do that, because you don't want to shower in a shower with dozens of other people at the same time, or not at the same time, but you know what I mean, like staying in the hotel at the same time, all sharing the same shower stall. Bring sandals if you're doing a hostel.
Yes, germs.
Sorry to gross
Great.
you out there.
It's fine. I'm just, I'm thinking, I'm just, I'm gonna be 37 next month, and I'm just like, these are things that are great for like 20-year-olds, but this is a little beyond me. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't want to do the hostel again. That was when I was 30, and I was like, you know what? I'm too old for this. Like, I want a hotel. But the problem was, it was our first year, so we didn't know how to do the hotels. And I booked the hostel like before we even had tickets, because it had you could cancel up to a day, up to 24 hours in advance. So I was like, if we don't get tickets, I can just cancel it. So
that is attractive.
I think that's the thing about the hotels that are hard for us to talk about, because we all stay Convention Center adjacent. We got Hard Rock, we got Bayfront, and these are not cheap hotels. So we know how to do the cheap things, but we choose to splurge on this aspect of our convention going experience and then cut back on the other aspects of it, so that we can have a bed and we can have air conditioning and only walk less than a block to the convention center. So it's absolutely possible to do it way cheaper. Stay in Mission Valley, and you have half the cost. Stay in a hostel and have $300 for like the whole stay.
Yeah, and we were there a week.
God, I can't even imagine. That's so cheap. But like, also, air conditioning is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's a really great point. Like, we all, I think that for the three of us, especially, we keep hotels up at where we splurge. So let's take a look at some of the other things that we have to budget for. Since we're talking about, literally, yes. Let's talk just briefly about transportation. I think that kind of goes together with the hotel situation. If you are lucky enough to stay downtown, you can pretty much walk everywhere, which is the preferred mode of transportation, I would say. But what are some other ways, like if you got to go,
Now, I kind of talked
far
about
away.
this earlier, but it used to be that shuttles ran 24/7 for free. You don't have to pay for them. And like at night, it was like once every 30 minutes, I think, at least to Mission Valley. There's other places to stay as well, like Shelter Island and the airport. And I don't know those shuttle like schedules off the top of my head, because Mission Valley is where the biggest like far away cluster of hotels are. But now that that's not an option, you're going to have to like take a taxi back or a Lyft or an Uber back in the middle of the night anyway. So that $180 a night room versus our $400 a night room might not be so cheap when you have to add up all the taxis and Lyfts and everything. But if you're not partying, if you're only doing it during the day, the shuttles are free. And during the day, I think it's every like 15 or 20 minutes. They do get rather full, so you might want to allow like enough time for 3 or 4 to like go by just in case. But they're free, so if you're not on an extremely tight schedule and you allow a lot of time, that doesn't cost anything. So.
I did check the shuttle schedule, and this year there's no shuttle service from 1 to 5 a.m.
I was off by an hour.
So just FYI. Yes. Okay.
Also, there's the San Diego, at least in that area, does have public transit. They have the trolley, and there's a bus. There's some bus lines. We took the bus to the beach the first year we stayed there. And the trolley stops right across the street from the convention center. So a lot of people prefer to stay. They'll stay farther out, but they'll stay close to the trolley line. And that is like, it's been a while since like $2 something a trip, something like that.
They also offer special Comic-Con cards, and I can't recall the price off the top of my head again. I should have noted this down, but they offer specific San Diego Comic-Con discount cards during the convention so that you can take, I'm not sure if it's just the trolley or the buses, but that's a really good option. And a lot of people choose the cheaper hotels further away and take the trolley in. And it's almost not even across the street. It's like in the middle of the street.
Yeah, very true. It's very weird down there.
Halfway across the street.
Although with the road in front of the convention center closed, it's a lot better now than it used to be because there's not as much bottleneck.
It's just a large cement space between the convention center and the trolley stop. And there's 2 trolley stops that are really close. There's the one that's like right by Hard Rock and Hilton, like and Omni at that little intersection. And then there's one a little further down, closer to like, I want to say Marriott and Manchester Grand Hyatt. There's one over there too. So you got 2 options. So, and unlike the shuttles, I haven't really heard about people having to wait for the trolleys. And the shuttle or the trolley also goes to Mission Valley. So if you don't like the shuttles at all, clearly I have a vendetta against the shuttles. I was almost late to a Doctor Who Nerd Headquarters panel because 4 shuttles passed me by. So I'm a little salty. But the trolley stops right there in Mission Valley as well, depending on which side of Mission Valley you're on. So
okay, so I did do some looking for price. Yes. There is an advantage of having an iPad, and this is one of them. It's right here. It's like right next to me. Okay, so you basically, they do have special discount cards or special cards that you can purchase depending on which days of the con you need them for. So the most expensive one is July 17th through the 21st, which is Wednesday through Sunday, and that's $20. So, yeah. So,
but that's
and
not
then
bad.
they go
I'm
all the way
assuming
down.
that's unlimited, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And trolley, or just trolley?
Good question. Trolley.
Yeah, but the trolley is the better one anyway, because buses are a little further into the gas lamp. Like, you have to walk probably 5 or 6 blocks into the gas lamp to get to where the buses are. So, trolley's better.
I am a big Lyft user during con. Obviously, Lyft and Uber, the car sharing services, I have found are a lot cheaper than cabs. And so, and I prefer Lyft because, well, at least Uber didn't used to let you tack on the tip to the end, but I think they do now. But I liked Lyft initially because they would let you like do the gratuity. So that's just who I use. But be aware that at night during the convention, it's very hard for them to get around. Well, for any car really to get around. Well, and during the day it's hard too because a lot of streets are closed and stuff. So just be aware, like if you're going to use either cabs or car sharing, it's going to be really hard to get around. So
come early, stay late, basically.
Yeah, and one year, I can't remember who was with me. I don't know if either of you were, but one year I called a Lyft and someone else got into my Lyft and drove away. There's a lot of people that use Lyft. That also, I'm a Lyft preferred person as well. And if you've never used Lyft before, you can typically get like free or discounted rides, like to start with. And I'm gonna message a link that's useful for that if we want to tweet it out. But yeah, like if you're brand new to it. Oh, and this is for disclosure, an affiliate link. So if you click on it, I get a discounted ride as well. So just putting that out there. I'm not even gonna lie.
Anyway. I will say too that during it's really funny.
I'm just being honest.
No, it's good, whatever, it's fine. I do want to mention too that if you're out at the convention during the day, especially if you're in that area that's right by the Hard Rock and the NBC Activation and Tin Fish. There are always people right kind of in that area giving out lots of flyers and kind of print materials. And a lot of times you can get coupons for, you know, using Lyft or Uber for your first time. It'll give you like a $15 credit or something. So be aware of that kind of stuff too.
That's how I downloaded Lyft the first time back in 2014. They gave me like, I think free $10 or $20 or something, and I downloaded Lyft right then and there at the con. And then for like a few years, it was only something I used at the convention, but now I like use it all the time. So, oops.
Yeah, I have to reinstall the Uber app every year basically because I don't use it in New York, so I only use it to get to and from the airport in San Diego.
There are some other options that I don't think we really need to go into, but you can always like rent a car, but be aware that if you do, parking is really hard to get. It's a lottery situation, just like everything else with Comic-Con, and also
Expensive.
It's expensive. Yeah, it's very expensive. I think the lot that is right next to the Hard Rock Hotel is like $60 a day, which it's not going to save you any money really.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
So like basically if you're trying to stay at a hotel that's like really far away because it's cheaper, like, ooh, I just found this hotel, it's only like $100 a night. But if you add in the $60 a day for parking and all that gas you're burning, it's not really any cheaper. Like you're going to be spending the same amount unless you're like to the maximum, like 5 people sleeping in the room, 5 people in the car, everything's split. Like maybe that would be cheaper, but still getting that parking is hard. So
yes. Cool. All right. Well, what do we got next here? Let's talk about food.
yay.
I think food is obviously it's necessary. You need to eat while you're at con, but I think it is one of those items that you can potentially save some money on depending on what you're willing to sacrifice again.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I know all 3 of us definitely do help, or, you know, we use the discounts and stuff to offset food offsets the other costs. Sorry, I'm having some word issues here. Let's talk about food.
So food is, now where I was saying the hotels are the hardest because if you want to, you know, be close, you're going to have inflated prices. Food is the easiest thing to adjust. It's the smallest cost too, unfortunately, but it's the easiest because you can go grocery store shopping. Like there's a Ralph's within walking distance. As I just learned this year, thanks to you, Erin, there is the Amazon Prime. Thank you for that.
Prime now. Yep.
We're doing that for the first time. So I don't have experience doing that, but that'll be a fun experiment where basically you have groceries delivered to your hotel, like in a 2-hour window. So who knows if it works well. Have you done it before, or is this your first year trying?
I have not done it at San Diego Comic-Con, but I have done it in other areas when I'm on vacation, including Disney World, which you would think they would not like that kind of stuff at Disney, but it actually worked out really well. In fact, they delivered it. We were staying at the cabins and they delivered our food to the cabin, which I was not expecting. So that's cool. It was like there when we got there in the cabin. So it's good if you like want your groceries right when you get there, but you're like flying in, you know, so you can order them like when you land and within 2 hours you'll get your stuff. So
that should be fun. Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
But Ralph's is really good. As you mentioned, there is a location in the gas lamp area. It can be a little bit of a jaunt for some people, especially from like the Hilton Bayfront. Yeah. But it is a good option. I always think that anytime that you can take your own food, even if it's just like making a sandwich that you may not actually eat, but you've got it there in case you need it. Or I like to at least get a couple bottles of wine or a couple 6-packs of beer to just keep in my room for throughout the con, because alcohol is expensive in San Diego during con. So if you like to, you know, go out and do a little partying, that it's always nice to like just buy the cheap stuff, do a little pre-gaming, and then maybe only buy 1 drink or 2, you know, if you're out at a party. But whatever. I will say too, there are a couple of CVS locations in the gas lamp too, which is great if you need more of like the drugstore kinds of things that maybe you don't need to go to the grocery store, but you want like some chips or something. Those are good options too. So
yeah, I went to Target earlier this week because last year I had a situation, because I normally do go to Ralph's on preview night, like between when my flight lands and when the convention center opens. And last year my flight was delayed 3 hours. Thank you, JetBlue. And I didn't have time to go, so I did not have food. that was an unpleasant. No. So this year I went to Target earlier this week, and I bought like protein bars and beef jerky and stuff that I can stick in my suitcase that'll travel with me, so that if something happens, I still have something until I can get like actual food.
Beef jerky, it keeps me alive during the convention. Sorry to vegetarians and vegans who are tuning in. It's probably not the best, but it's protein. It keeps your energy up, so that is my go-to snack. But
peanut butter crackers are good. Is that vegan?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't, honestly. I was like, I don't know what's vegan and what's not.
I think it depends on the cracker.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say another tip, and I was gonna try to tweet out a link to this, but it kind of failed. I'll tweet a link later. There are apps that give you discounts, and Ralph's is one of them. The app is called Ibotta, and I will tweet a link. It's affiliate link again. Sorry, being honest. But you can get discounts on groceries. A lot of times, jerky is one of the things you can get like $1 or $2 off. Tons of other snacks, and I use it not just at the con, but like in my regular grocery shopping life, and it saves a lot of money. And so that's another one too, like not just grocery, but discounted groceries. So
yeah, I am the same. I've done some pre-con shopping here. I've got some Cliff Bars and some granola bars. I always keep granola bars around because I love them and they're good. Yeah, protein is good. I usually, for my roommate situation, we go to the store at the beginning of con. We get cases of water, and we get like sandwich fixings, so like bread, and then sometimes lunch meat, and then they make that like goober, like peanut butter and jelly mixed together stuff, which is kind of weird, but you know, now you don't have to buy them separately. And you know, so that's always good. Any sort of like you know, keeping the fresh fruit is good too. You know, bananas, apples, those are good to, you know, throw in your bag for when you go to con, and it's actually like whole food, so it's great. And yeah,
I like string cheese. That's something I try and get.
String cheese is good. Yeah.
Also,
now we're
I buy the Uncrustables. Aaron and I were talking about that earlier. They're pre-made. It's a little ridiculous because they're pre-made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but if I don't want to buy an entire loaf of bread for the convention that I'm not going to eat. So you can get them in like a box of 4, and they're supposed to go in the freezer, but the fridge is fine. Because I've done that in the past. As long as you have a fridge in your room. Oh, they're
Yeah.
amazing.
They're just, I don't know why. Like, I don't even mind crust. I think they're made for like kids who don't like the crust. And so they're like pinched together at the end. They're like in a circle.
As we
And
established, we all eat like children.
yes, I mean, I do my fair share of fine eating as well, but I do love a good Uncrustable. And they do come in strawberry or grape. So just so you're, yep. Very good option. So we've talked about groceries. What are some like other food options?
Parties that have food.
Parties that have food. We'll talk about parties at the end. But that is a very good distinction. But what if you're just like out and around, walking around during the day, during the con? What are some?
Subway. There's a Subway really close by, and there's so many people that want to get Subway sandwiches that they have them pre-made. So it's not the typical Subway experience because they would just be way overwhelmed by making custom sandwiches. So you just go in and you get cheap sandwich handed to you and push through that line really fast. But it's a really good, really cheap option, and they're prepared for the Comic-Con crowd.
I believe that Subway is also open 24 hours.
Oh.
Which is amazing because who doesn't want a foot long at 3 a.m.? I don't know. I do. It's fine. Yeah.
Also, right near the Subway, like behind the Hilton gas lamp, there's a little convenience store, which is like 50% liquor. So it does, I mean, that's helpful, but not in this situation when we're talking food. Well, never mind. Unless your diet is alcohol. But anyway, that's
hello. That's like what you do at Comic-Con.
But they also have a ton of snacks and a little deli, or they will make custom sandwiches, and people don't know about it. Well, now they do. Well, all 5 of our viewers. But they make sandwiches and it's never crowded because people don't know it's there. Like when you're walking by, it looks like it's all alcohol, and so people are just like, we'll come back, to get the booze later. But if you just walk inside, there's a little deli stand, and they're really well priced, really fast, and really, really good. And
really big,
yes.
too. So they'll
Huge.
definitely last like more than one meal, or you can split with a friend. I'm a big fan of this sandwich shop as well. In fact, one year I stayed in an Airbnb just above it. So, oh my God, it was so convenient. It was great. But they also have pre-made sandwiches. So if there is a line and if you don't care about customizing, they've got them pre-made. And they also have really great deli style sides like potato salad and macaroni salad and stuff. So that's good too. I'm a fan.
Yep. One word warning: do not eat the con center food. It's expensive and it's crap. So
I mean, you can eat it. It's convenient. But yes, I definitely have spent an entire day in Ballroom 20 where all I ate was Mrs. Fields cookies. That is not a good idea.
Auntie Anne. There's that Auntie Anne stand. I get that a lot.
Auntie Anne's. Don't have all you eat all day be cookies and pretzels. Definitely it's fine for like one day, but don't make it all 4 days. Your stomach will not like you.
Last year I ate a lot from the food places, the little like counter thing they set up at the Bayfront that's across from the Indigo.
Oh yes.
Yes, I definitely was going to talk about that because a lot of the hotels, I know the Omni does this, the Bayfront does it. They have stands that they set up for con goers that are pre-made food. And the one at the Bayfront, they have like a breakfast and a lunch one. And for breakfast, you can get like breakfast burritos or breakfast sandwiches, whole fruit, yogurt, that kind of stuff. It isn't super cheap, but it's decently priced for the convenience that it is. And for lunch, they have like burgers and, you know, wraps and stuff that you can get. The one at Omni is a little bit healthier. They do have, they have like more of those deli style sandwiches and stuff, and it's just right outside. So definitely watch for those. And even if you're not staying in those hotels, you can still go in and get food. So
yeah, especially since if you're at the Indigo Ballroom, since that's in the Bayfront, it's right across from where the ballroom lets out, and there's one just outside too on the lawn.
Yes,
same thing.
I definitely have eaten some burgers from there. They are very good, but very greasy. So take some Tums with you if you want. But yeah, it's a great option for the convenience factor, if anything.
It's convenient, and, you know, it's got the protein you need to give you energy. It's not super cheap, but it's also not super expensive. It's like a mid-range option. Like,
yeah.
But I'm also from Hawaii, where everything's expensive.
I was gonna say, I was like, I have a different threshold of expensive living in New York City. So
yeah.
Okay, well, I live in the Midwest and everything is cheap. So, but even so, I would say, you know, like at the Bayfront, I think they have like their lunch combo is like a sandwich, like a burger or a wrap, and then a bag of chips and a can
and a
of
drink.
and a drink, and it's like I want to say like $13.
Yeah, it's less than 15. I don't remember the exact price. I should
like
because I ate it like 4 times.
Which again is
expensive.
No, it's not super cheap, but it's right there. It's convenient, and sometimes, you know, sometimes convenience kind of outweighs. You know, but it's not super bad. So.
Yeah, basically, like, if you can afford to not just be eating Crustables every single day, this is a one step up.
They're Uncrustables. Uncrustables.
I have not experienced this delicious thing that you guys
that's what makes them attractive. There's no crust. Sorry, I'm just teasing, but it's funny. Yeah. So this is not really anything that's a budget necessarily, but do know that a lot of restaurants in the Gaslamp do limit their menus during the convention. They will have special menus with maybe only 4 or 5 options on the whole menu. It helps them cut down on inventory during cons since they have so many people in and out. But it also can sometimes be to your advantage because, you know, you can get in and out very quickly. And usually they're the like good foods that, you know, popular items or whatever. So just be on the lookout for that, but be aware that as you're perusing menus now, trying to be like, oh, what are some cool places that I can eat? You know, those menus will be different during the convention.
I was eating at a place on a Tuesday before con as they were going and switching the menus out to the Comic Con menus, and the thing that was $11 that I had just ordered was suddenly $14. I mean, I got the regular price, but like they were going through and like slipping out the little table sheets, so I got to see the price jump like every time. So it's not super budget, but it's really fast, and if you want to just sit down, which is important when you're walking at these cons all day, in like a nice place and just chill for a minute, maybe it's worth that $3 price hike, you know, maybe.
I really like the old Spaghetti Factory. Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's right there in the Gaslamp.
It is, really, and close. I mean, it's been like I haven't eaten there in a while because I never have money, so I don't usually eat out when I'm there. But they had it was like a 3-course meal, and there was a deal on it. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, also again, New York, so I have different thresholds, but it's like you got a salad and an entree and a dessert, and it was, you know, a certain amount of money. So that was, and you sat down and it was nice, and then we saw Shawn Ashmore outside. So
yes. always the celebrity sightings in the restaurant. So be aware of that too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan. Sorry, I think timing is also a really big issue of when you do decide to eat. If you are going out to a restaurant, try to avoid going at kind of like the very popular times. Yeah, I am a big fan of the brunch time frame for eating out. Usually breakfast is cheaper than dinner. So I like to go and eat like a bigger breakfast at like 10:30. So then I only have to eat breakfast and lunch together. And usually, and usually breakfast foods are really good for you, like eggs and yummy stuff. So that's a good way, kind of combining your meals. If you want to eat lunch/dinner at like 3:30, you're avoiding the crowds and you're also paying for only one meal instead of two, which is helpful.
I was going to just randomly interject another reminder, which I think will be like the third webcast that I've put this reminder out there. Don't bother celebrities when they're sitting down for a meal. Please don't.
Oh, yeah.
That has nothing to do with budget, but I figure for the people that haven't seen all my prior warnings, good to just put that in there. Leave them alone. Let them eat their burgers.
You can look at them and be like, oh, it's Shawn Ashmore. But then,
like, oh!
Oh yeah, the pointing, don't do that. I mean, I think we're all guilty of it. I definitely am guilty of pointing. But don't like approach them. Yeah, that's good. That's a good
he was outside and this was after. So
you pointed at him and you're like, oh, Shawn
I did that
Ashmore.
to the cast of Star Trek Discovery at Rave of Thrones. I'm like, oh my god. And you're
Whoa.
like, don't point. Like
That's only because I know how bad I felt after pointing at celebrities. And I'm like, what? Come on. You're better than this. All right. So we've talked a lot about food. So I think that's a good transition into parties. Yeah. Parties. How do you budget? What are some tips and tricks for doing parties? Because for those of you who have never been, like, parties are kind of a big deal for a lot of con goers. What do you do at night after the con's done? Well, there are a lot of parties going on.
So that's tricky because a lot of the free ones that have free food and free alcohol sell out in a minute. Like the second that link drops online somewhere, people just swoop in and grab the tickets and it's gone. So if you manage to get it, you get free food, you get free alcohol, you get an amazing party, but very few people get it. I think one of the more popular ones, the fandom party, like only has, I want to say like 300 tickets or something, or 400. It's really low. But that has free food, free alcohol. Some of the invite only ones as well, which are invite only, so sorry viewers who are not invited, but like the NBC party had free food.
Yeah, we can blanket say that, like, industry parties, I would say, that most con goers probably won't have access to, but the people who need the free stuff are the ones that don't get invited. But But there are occasionally some, like you mentioned, fandom. There are occasionally some open to the public parties that, Nerd Night, that those have like free alcohol. Sometimes they'll have free food or like appetizers that are being circulated. So it's not really a meal food, but kind of bits.
And both of those, the two biggest ones, sold out in minutes. So unfortunately for this year, dear viewers, it's too late for those. But for next year, like if you want to hover online intensely and nab a ticket.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of the parties too that you pay for that are open to the public, sometimes will have drink tickets, or they may have an open bar for like a set period of time, like for the first hour or two, and then as it gets busier, they take that perk away. A lot of those parties will also have, again, the appetizers circulating. So it's not like a meal substitute, but it's, you know, because we all like to eat more when we're drunk. So.
Yeah. Like, I think one of the ones that's my favorite is kind of an expensive party, but what you get with the cost of the ticket is worth it, and that's Rave of Thrones. You have two ticket options. You can do the $20 ticket, which just gets you in the door, and that's it. Or you can do the $50 ticket, which, no joke, $50 is not budget. Like, it's not budget. It's a pricey ticket, but you get a $50 bar card. And VIP like entrance, so you get to skip the regular line. So for me, even though that's expensive, it's worth it because I get $50 worth of booze and I get in immediately. Versus $20
because you're gonna spend that $50 anyway at the bar. So
yeah, that's like 3 drinks.
Yeah, I think the drinks at Rave of Thrones were $12, but I would tip them. So I think I got like 4, but I tipped, so I think my last one was like card and cash, so that wasn't really but like expensive but worth the cost for what you get.
And really a lot of the parties that do charge you admission, that do give you some sort of perk, it's worth it. You know, there's a party, I mean, I haven't gone to it yet because it's happening this week, but, or, you know, next week. But there is one party that I bought a ticket for, I think it was like $25, and they're having an open bar the first 2 hours, and then they open it up later.
Which one is
you know, Level Up.
Oh yeah, I'll be at that
and
one.
So I mean, $25 is it's not free, but it's, you know, you get something, you know, with the price of admission. Whereas there are other parties that the admission gets you nothing special, and you still have to pay for all of your drinks, and you're like, I want alcohol. No.
As soon as like Friends of Comic-Con is the place where I get most of my news. As soon as like someone posts a link to a party, I'm doing research to see what that ticket cost gets you. And if it gets you nothing, it's just like, nope. Like, I don't care how cool the venue is. Like, I really don't care. Like, there needs to be something with that ticket cost besides just getting in the door.
I just don't party. I'm not a big, that's a good way to save because I don't really drink.
The ultimate budget.
Yes, the ultimate budget is to be like a boring stay in your hotel. I like the free parties, and if you can get them. And of course we have perks of being press in that sometimes we get invited to the invite only things. And so last year, that is how I had dinner at least twice. Because of Wired Cafe. So
yeah, Wired is great.
Which it's not happening this year, and it's very disappointing.
It is very disappointing. It's very bring back Wired.
Yeah, Wired, come back. We love you. We're poor.
But I also wanted to mention we have it in our article, which I will probably they'll tweet later. But some of the activations, the offsites have food. And I know that the Amazon experience this year is supposed to have burgers, I think. They're paired with Carl's Jr. They're probably going to be like sliders, you know, they'll be like that big, but like they're supposed to have food.
Free or
I think.
I believe it's free. And I would not be surprised if they are slider size. Sometimes that's all you need for a burger though, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm cool with that. And then again, if you are looking to offset your alcohol cost, try to buy your alcohol like at the store or CVS or something, and you know, do a little pre-gaming before you go out. And that is always a good budget tip. We're on Monday. I get there on Monday, and on Monday night we're going out to this place called Sugar Factory,
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking at their menu, and their drinks are like, they have like $30 drinks and like $19 drinks, and I'm like, I can't afford that. So even like Nobu is cheaper than that. I don't know. Like, I don't want to spend $20 on a drink. That's just too much for me. So just be aware that, again, you're going to a big city. Cocktails and stuff are going to be more expensive than you may be used to. So yes.
Yep.
All right. Those are the categories I have. Do you guys have any like random budget
Badges
things?
is a way.
Oh yes,
is a
badges.
place to get discounts. For the majority of people, there's not going to be any way to move the badges price. You're going to be paying what they cost. But if you are, let me see here. I think I have the ages written down.
You're under the age of 13.
Yeah, if you're under the age of 13, I believe it's free child badge.
But you have to be with a parent. You
with
can't just
one
go on your own.
Yes. And then also, if you are military, or I believe it also includes senior, you get 50% off the badge. So that's a huge chunk of cash. And that's just for regular attendees. If you qualify as press, that's a comped badge. And some professionals, I believe, also get comped badge, but with the way they changed how the professional badges work, I think you still have to pay for like your companion now. Like, I don't think you get a free companion. What are some other discounts? You got professional, you got press, you got the age criteria and the veterans. Oh, and you can always enter raffles, but of course that's a raffle. So the chances are very slim that you're going to be getting a free badge that way. But you can
Radio contests.
Yeah.
You have to be the 10th caller.
Yeah. A lot of those are local too, so you sort of have to live in San Diego.
Yeah, but then that's an option. So that's one way. And of course, someone has to start sawing outside my room. Right. Sorry.
It's fine. We can't really hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I think this has been pretty good. Like, I mean, you got all the major things. Can you think of anything else that, like?
I have a semi money saving tip. It's not a whole lot, and it really depends. It's like airline dependent. I like to fly JetBlue, and JetBlue has tiered ticket prices. And so you can buy like the basic ticket, which is just the plane ticket, but for a little bit extra, it's usually like $10, $15 extra. You can get the fare that includes a checked bag. And since checked bags are like $30, you save a little bit that way. So that's what I do. Because anytime I fly, the only time I check a bag is to come to San Diego. So I usually shove everything in a carry-on, and that's how I do it. But
also, that reminds me, when it comes to the extra cost for checked bags, sometimes, depending on where you live, shipping stuff home is cheaper than checking a bag. Like shipping a box with a fair amount of stuff is like $15 to $20 for me, and I'm in Hawaii where shipping things is way more expensive for some stupid reason. Probably because we're an island, but anyway. Whereas a checked bag, it's like $25 for the first checked bag, and then like $50 for the second. So you can cut down on like that second checked bag just by packing a box and shipping it home.
Yeah, speaking of that too, I know some people take the Amtrak, the train down to San Diego. I have done that, and I highly recommend springing the extra like $8 to get a first class ticket, because you have a dedicated first class car, which is usually much less crowded. And you also get a checked bag, and you get some like snack goodies, which includes alcohol. So
What?
there you go.
I have an Amtrak ticket for this year, but I don't think it's first class. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
look into that.
it's very it's an upgrade that does not cost much at all, and it's totally worth it. You know, if you've got like the extra
Dan,
$8 or whatever.
Right now, he's the one that bought our Amtrak tickets because we're doing
Oh,
Disneyland
well.
beforehand.
Right.
Dan, if you're listening, please look into this. I'll message him afterwards.
I think you can upgrade at the train station, but yeah, we'll talk offline. But that's also you know, it's again not a budget thing, but it's I'm old and I don't want to, you know, meh. I don't want to be back in the whatever, not first class. No, it's fine. Since we're talking a little bit more about that transportation too, I will say that the first few years I used Super Shuttle to get to and from the airport. That's a really good option too. It costs like $8 for one way from the airport to any of the downtown hotels, really. And you can pay for that ahead of time and your gratuity ahead of time. So that's really good if you're kind of stressing about how you're going to get to and from the airport. You know, months in it, you can pay for it months in advance when you're flush with cash instead of, you know, you're the day of and you're like, oh my God, I have $20. You know, it's nice because you can pay for it ahead of time. So, and it's not, again, the $8 is for like a shared van. So it will make multiple stops. But you know, it's not expensive. So it's a good option too.
Also, this is being like poor. I wish I had the money to buy stuff at Comic-Con, but I don't. I like to buy a lot of my stuff at New York Comic-Con because I live here, so I don't have to pay to. So I save the money because I'm not paying for the flight and the hotel and everything like that. So that's where I buy. If in the event I have money at that's where I buy stuff. But San Diego Comic-Con is one of the best, if not the best, convention to get free stuff because I think I've gotten a free T-shirt, like a decent T-shirt, like T-shirts that I actually wear outside at every every Comic-Con that I've been to. So if you want stuff from the convention but you don't have any money, hit up the tables because they'll be giving stuff out. The booths.
Free stuff. Occasionally, I mean, sometimes you can get some really good finds. Yeah, it's San Diego Comic-Con is so weird. It's so fun and it's so awesome, but it's so weird too. So, all right, I think we're good then. I mean, we've gone through everything. We will post links to the article that our admin Angel. Okay, Jamie posted the links to because we also have an article that kind of outlines all of this stuff in more detail and gives you even more information than we could possibly talk about. Obviously, if there are any tips, tricks, secrets, whatever that you have on how to save some cash, we would love to hear them. And
we're broke.
And we will also share those with everybody that we know because everybody can always save some money. I mean, it is the economy, whatever. We all want to save some money. This is an expensive con for everybody. So even if you're local. So anyway, you can help cut some corners on that cost is very helpful. So anybody want to add anything else?
I think we're good. Watch as Tara shows up right now as we're saying goodbye.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
Whatever.
she made it.
Yeah, she has some family stuff going on, so she gets a pass. It's fine. I'm Erin, and again, here with Admin Angel and Jamie. Thank you again for joining us for our special San Diego Comic-Con on a Budget webcast. We do have another San Diego Comic-Con webcast coming up this week, Wednesday, preview night. It's our live from preview night webcast. So be sure to join us. That is at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. There you go. We got it. We got it. So be sure to join us for that. And we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.